Hello, in today's short and sweet, we're going to be speaking about something that sounds a little more risque, but it's not. It's a valid Torah topic, and that's feelings of taiva, feelings of lust. Why am I bringing up this topic? From one of the many TorahAnytime.com viewers, somebody had reached out to me, a young man in his 20s. I think he said he was like 23 or 24. And the way I would describe his email was he wanted me to speak about this question because his Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination, is beginning to provoke him as we're getting more to the summertime, more taiva, more feelings of lust, and he's feeling more nisyonis, more tests in this area. He told me that there's no way he's going to ask his rabbi about this question personally. He says, well, writing you an email and maybe you could talk about it on Torah Anytime, that's anonymous and safe and comfortable enough for me. So for the fellow who's having a hard time with his early summertime Yetzer Hara, let's speak this out, share with you a little Torah hashkafa, something that you asked me that maybe I could give you, that you could put into your mind that might be helpful to help you overcome your nisyonis, and maybe it'll be of benefit to other people as well. So here we go. So if you look in the book of Vayikra, in the Sefer Vayikra, chapter 20, verse 17, it says over here, there's a whole lengthy, long list of prohibited relationships in the Torah. A person can't have relations with this one and this one and this one. And it's a long list in the Torah. And then it says in chapter 20, verse 17, a man who takes his sister and he has an inappropriate relationship with her, it says it is a chesed, and they shall be cut off. That's what the Torah says. Now, if you look in your Art Scroll translation, it'll say it is a disgrace, and they'll get chayiv karis. They'll be punished with karis, and they'll be cut off for being involved in this behavior. But if you look in the Chumash, look in the Hebrew side now, it calls this incestuous, disgusting relationship, it calls it chesed. That's right, chesed, like Abraham, chesed, kindness, that's what the Torah calls getting involved in this relationship. So why does the Torah call such a perverted behavior kindness, chesed? So let's start with Rashi. So Rashi brings a pasuk. Rashi brings the pasuk from Tehillim. If you look in the book of Psalms, Tehillim, chapter 89, verse 3, there's a famous phrase that David HaMelech says that the world will be built with kindness, that the olam is built through chesed. Now, what does that mean? That kumbaya, akuna matata, the whole world is built through chesed? Well, that's true. Chesed is the foundation of the world. But it also is referring to the fact that the way the world got populated was that Cain, meaning one of the sons of Adam and Eve, they had Cain and Hevel, Cain and Abel. Cain married his sister, and from there the world continued to populate and propagate. So you see from there that the olam is built through chesed. It's going on Cain and his sister. So you see from there, says Rashi, that even an incestuous, inappropriate, otherwise disgusting relationship can be called chesed. That the olam is built through chesed, and that's one proof. That's Rashi. But I want to tell you something else. The Radak, a Rishon, gives a different shot. The Radak says like this. The Radak says a well-known idea that every midah, every character trait has its proper measure. Its proper way it's supposed to be used. Things aren't just all or nothing. It's like a dish. It's like an ingredient. Every character trait has its proper measure. Even chesed. Kindness has its own proper way it's supposed to be directed. Says the Radak, sometimes a person has an imbalanced desire to give to others, to give pleasure to other people, to relate to other people. It's chesed, it's good, but it's going beyond the gedarim, it's beyond the boundaries of what it's supposed to, and therefore it's expressed in this inappropriate way. So it comes out from the Radak, a person's chesed trait, the attribute of kindness. It's a beautiful trait to have. It's a quintessentially Jewish trait to have. But if it gets out of whack, even chesed itself, says the Radak, if it goes too much and too far out of balance, it can come to the point that a person's desire to be nice to others or give pleasure to others and connect with others and bond with others, it can cross boundaries even into relationships and behaviors that are forbidden and totally inappropriate. It also comes out from here that you see that if a person feels an enormous Yetzer Hara to engage in behavior between men and women that you're not supposed to be engaged in. Many times it doesn't mean that necessarily the person is like an animal with a huge Yetzer Hara, who's like a starving person who's just looking for like a piece of meat and whatever. Many times you'll find that it's not that the person is a Baal Taiva, the person is just like an animal driven for lust and pleasure. Many times people who have nisyonis, tests and challenges in this area, it's not because the person is like an animal, it's because the person has an out of bounds, beyond the norm aspect of chesed. Now I want to tell you a little more. The Baal Shem Tov writes that when a person feels such a strong urge of taiva, of lust, to express oneself in the male-female relationship inappropriately, says the Baal Shem Tov, al pi Kabbalah, that is your neshama's way of telling you that you have a powerful desire to do chesed, to do kindness. So, to my listener out there who asked this question, and to everyone else in internet land, if a person feels that kind of itch, what they're supposed to do, based on Chasidus and Kabbalah, is to try to translate it, says the Baal Shem Tov, to interpret it. Just because you hear a signal, you have to interpret it. Your cell phone makes a sound, doesn't mean it's a sound. It means there's a message for you. If a person feels their body conveying that message, says the Baal Shem Tov, based on Chasidus and Kabbalah, it's your neshama telling you, hey, I have a strong desire to do chesed. Make sure you interpret it properly. Now, to the person who asked this question, I respect very much your reaching out and asking this question and your efforts to try to keep your taiva under control. I'll tell you one quick thing. The Chiddushei HaRim, the first Ger Rebbe, says something fascinating. Many people know the word teva. Teva, it refers to nature, sort of like the derech ha-teva, the way the world of nature seems to work. Teva also means a flood. Says the Chiddushei HaRim, why is the word teva, which means a flood, the same word as nature? So the Chiddushei HaRim says an obvious pshat. Because if a person will not learn how to control his teva and have proper boundaries and gedarim, what's going to happen? That if you can't control the teva, what you feel is your natural urges, person will be lost in a teva, a flood of basically feelings and emotions that will overwhelm you and incapacitate your ability to be useful and helpful. So anyway, I hope this has been of some use to a person out there. Whoever, at least one person out there, certainly the person who addressed to me this question. And yeah, there's a lot of nisyonis, and certainly in the summertime, when things seem more relaxed and loose, and people aren't dressed like they're supposed to. But hopefully we can understand a little bit what the Radak is saying, and the Baal Shem Tov, with a little Chiddushei HaRim mixed in as well, with the Rashi, to understand that we have to make sure that we take and interpret the messages that our minds, our hearts, our bodies, and whatever send us, and we have to teach them, we have to translate them correctly, and direct them towards our avodas Hashem. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the short and sweet series on Torah Anytime. Thank you.